Morning guys, TJ Schwartz here. Huge day. I'm getting the Syil X7 placed in the garage right next to the Tormach here. I've got to move the Tormach over first. I've got to resituate the whole shop. As it turns out, the doors back here, all of the gear and benches and grinders and blast cabinet and all that is in the way. So the shop's getting blown apart. It gives me a ton of anxiety, I'm not gonna lie. This isn't the first time I've had to do this for various reasons, and it doesn't feel good. Taking something that I'm so comfortable with and is all perfectly organized and blown it apart, possibly putting all these benches out in the driveway. It's not the best feeling, but it's all gonna be worth it in the end. I'm gonna have that machine sitting right here. I'm gonna start running power to it and air, and I'm gonna have 2 spindles, guys. Looking forward to it. So I've got the Tormach moved over against the wall here. Luckily on the Tormach, there's nothing on that left side that needs accessed, and on the Syil, there's nothing on the right side that needs access. So kind of a yin yang. The Syl's gonna go right here, and those shelves are gonna go to the back wall. And so when you look at these two machines, there's gonna be shoulder to shoulder right at the back of the shop. I can't remember the dimension, but there's like, I don't know, 40 inches between them. So that'll be the pass through to leave the shop. Going out the door, there's enough room for the door to swing behind the Tormach. This shelving, we really like having the extra shelving, but that's gonna be hard to keep it, I think, because my tool chest is probably gonna need to go back where it was on the left side here. So these bottom 2 shelves might have to go bye-bye. Is what it is. Onward and upward. That, by the way, that Tormach is pretty easy to move. I'm just one guy, I can just roll it around. The Syil, not the case. I've got 2 guys coming over. I tried to roll it myself, and basically leaning at a 45-degree angle and driving with my feet, I can get it to move a few inches at most. So yeah, time to get some other stuff out of the way and we'll roll that puppy in. So here it is, guys. That's where it's gonna go. Got everything moved out of here except for this bench. When the guys show up that are helping me, we'll move that out of the way. Totally clear shot. I swept everything up because a tiny little 3/16 washer could probably stop that whole pallet jack from moving. The biggest problem we're gonna have, I think, is this threshold. There's like a 1/2 inch rise right there. I think we're gonna have to do some kind of inchworm technique where you get the machine as far as you can and then lower the jack and then scoot it a little bit further and come back up to get the wheel over it. Because I really don't think we're going to move 5,000 pounds over that 1/2 inch jump with only 3 guys. So that should be a little bit interesting. But once we get past that, we're pretty much home free. Kind of exciting. It's kind of a bummer to have my whole well-being sitting out here in the driveway, but I guess that's how it is. Soon enough, I'll get it back up under the carport here and we'll get everything put back together. I can't wait to show you guys how it'll look. So there we have it. I've got most of my stuff back in place. I've got some stuff still to do in here. She fits, she sits, she's safe. We didn't drop it. We didn't crash into anything. Dinged the drywall a tiny bit, but who cares? Can still go out the back door. Door fully swings. My shelving's all good and clear. I got access to the panel. The back corner is where the phase converter is going to sit because it runs the power to under the machine. I can still open these back cabinets. So I didn't lose pretty much any functional space in the shop, maybe just a tiny bit, because having two here, it kind of just soaked up a bunch of neutral space. Where the Tormach was, I had 360 degrees to walk around it. Now I don't, but I'm fine with that. Both machines are against the wall on a side where there's no major features or controls or anything like that. So the one thing I still got to do is I've got to pull my BT30 tightener off, move it to the other side or wherever I decide to put it, because this is supposed to swing out and I can't clear it right there. So that's no big deal. I already removed, these tools were on that side too, and I moved those, but not a big deal. I was going to talk about real quick leveling this. I did get it level. It's got screw adjustable feet, 3 of them, 1 in front, 2 in back. 3 feet is way easier to level because to go, left to right, you're just changing 1 foot up or down, and then front back is just the front foot up or down. Whereas with 4 feet, it's a lot harder. You'll have like 1 foot kind of teetering or 1 foot like with no weight on it, and so you're trying to balance them out and gauge how much pressure is on each foot. So I'm going to dive into leveling the Tormach again. I know it's way out of level where it's sitting. But the other thing I should have mentioned earlier, this Syil, if you buy one, definitely be aware of this. It's got the 3 feet. It's got through holes all the way through the feet. So it goes through the threaded stud and through the feet. And that's how it's mounted to the steel pallet. Now, when it arrives, you unbolt those through hole bolts. And when the forklift driver lifted it off of there, it left the feet behind. So the feet are not attached to the threaded studs, which stunned me, and it was in the air and it had no feet on it. And you really can't set it down without those feet because you don't want to damage the threads on those studs. And those feet have like a cone, so the stud sits into the cone. And let me see if I can get an actual little bit better view. But there's the top of one of the feet right there, the threaded part. What I ended up doing was I had him lower it down, and we set it on the feet, and I just manually made sure the feet were in the right spot. But I went and got some 1/2-inch grade 8 bolts, and I threaded them through, and I bolted those feet to the actual threaded studs so that when I was moving it, the feet would come with it, and you would never have to worry about like making sure it goes back down on the feet perfectly. So I'm not sure why they do it. One theory I had is that maybe some people are bolting these to the floor and they're using that through bolt hole. But just be aware those feet aren't attached, and it surprised me. It would have been easy to deal with if I was ready for it, but like I said, the machine's in the air and the feet are on the ground, and I didn't know what to do. So it was a little funky. But all in all, the fact that it has 3 feet, I'm totally fine with. I think it makes it easier to level, and it's ideal. So yeah, like I said, these shelves are coming out because there's one bench, like my Kydex station, that's still out in the carport. So I'm going to have to chain up this top shelf because we're keeping the top shelf and cut the bottom out. Have my bench, I'll have a whole nother row of bench space in here, which will be ideal. And that's going to be like the Kydex corner because a lot of the Kydex work is going to happen on the Tormach. And then this side's going to be the corner with running coolant and doing steel and all that. So it'll be kind of separate in that way, and also G10 running on this one. So yeah, guys, money, it's here. It's, my anxiety is finally relieved because it's a heavy thing, and it gets a little teetery sometimes, and having it sit in its final place is a good feeling. So now I'm going to run to Home Depot. I'm going to get some PEX line. I'm running PEX air up over on the ceiling, dropping lines into the machines. That way I don't have any hoses on the ground. That'll probably be the next video. But yeah, here we are, guys. I'm happy with this machine so far. Air and power to it. That'll be another video, and I will show you how she runs. But appreciate you guys' support. Couldn't do this without you. These machines, it feels like a dream to have these 2 machines in here. If you'd asked me 2 years ago that I would have this going on right here in the shop, probably wouldn't have believed you. It's just because of you guys buying knives for me and being patient, waiting for me to finish them for you. I've got all these to sharpen, and I've started shipping them, but I had to get this machine in here. As soon as I get through this weekend and get this stuff all hooked up, I'll be right back to sharpening those, shipping more knives. More to come. I've got 2 new sheets of steel sitting out in the carport. I've got this water jet stuff right here that'll be machining on the Syil. So I'm stoked. I'm going to start machining overlands on the Syil. It's going to be beautiful, guys. Thanks again. Like, comment, subscribe. Stick around for more.